Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we sit back, relax, take that mid-week break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux and open source. I'm Vince Stone, joined by Jill Bryant, talking to everybody in live chat over here on YouTube at LWDW, usually around 3 p.m.-ish on Wednesdays if you want to pop in and be like, hello, this is my favorite type of bread and or soup, possibly a biscuit recipe, because these are some of the things that go on
we talk about
before we get into it. Pretty interesting show this week. We're going to be talking about a new editor. It's got 2.0. It's been out for a little bit, but it just got really cool if you're into 2D graphic-y bits. High refresh, e-ink, e-paper kit. Ooh,
yay.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Something about green tea, not what you think. And a robot that throws candy at children, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
You got to throw that in at the end. Jill's going to tell you about a little bit of adventure, but before we get into that, I was just reminded, because you know how your brain gets back to you. It is like, hey man, that thing you were supposed to do like 3 days ago, remember to do that. I was like, that's a very inopportune time, brain, to remind me of this. I'm getting ready to do a show. And it's like, no, but you can use it for show material. I'm like, good going, brain. I'm talking about the TASCAM US 144 MKII audio interface. What? Well, a gentleman had one laying around and he's like, wouldn't it be cool if we had like the Windows GUI overlay and access to all the stuff? So he wrote a new driver for it. He did. So I'm over it. You know, I made a little post on the Interfacing Linux forum. This is a really cool audio interface from not necessarily back in the day. You know, it's a modern interface, 24-bit, 48K. Not a problem. It's got digital out and it's got MIDI on it, which is very interesting. And I'm like, oh, great. Because people love their GUIs. You know, I got a TASCAM. I got like a big chunky rack TASCAM thing I did an Interfacing Linux video on a while back. But this one got interesting in the forums because, you know, some people on the forums are over there talking about it. Then the driver developer shows up and they start working on it, troubleshooting it and doing bug stuff. So there might even be a 144 version. I thought that was pretty cool to see. Over on the forums, interfacinglinux.com. But, Joe, you got Ethernet cables, right?
Yep. Lots of them. In fact,
we got Ethernet
in
cables
here at one time. Yeah.
From, you know, you go look at your closet. I guarantee probably everybody listening to this show's got at least one Ethernet cable that's 20 years old. Hanging around
I have 10 base T and 100 base T cables.
Just hanging out, man. Now, most of the stuff back here, I've switched everything, not everything, but most of the stuff that is feasible to do over to fiber because I don't like dealing with like the big chunky cables and you get fiber set up, done once, you never have to worry about it. A while back, I ordered what I call my emergency cables. Why are they emergency cables? Because they're red. They're red. Those are my red cables. Those are my, I need to do a quick patch or something like that. They're easy to see because that usually means they're not packed away. They're not put in tubes, you know, they're not tucked. They're just on the floor. You know, there's like, I need to get this thing connected to this thing. And I don't need a black cable, like just sitting here in my studio, perpetual low lightness. I bought 4 of them and I think they're they're not terribly long. I think they're like 4 or 5 meters, right? Bought them all at the same time. In the past 2 weeks, the tabs have broken off. The clip tabs have all disintegrated.
Oh my gosh.
Time. Every single one of them.
2 weeks.
Well, I've had them for a couple of years now.
Oh, okay.
I've had them for a couple of years, but in the past 2 weeks, because they've been going down like little soldiers, man. Like I lost one and I had it like, you know, I had a 2 and, you know, one of those, you know, the little stretchy covers that you can put over them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to keep them together.
Sheath.
Yeah, and the little wraps, and I had that running, and like the tab broke off the one, and I'm like, oh man, because I had one just run over here to play with some ARM stuff, and I had one running over to the Trackmania box over on the other side of the studio, and I'm like, oh, what have I been doing? I've been like, oh, it's Trackmania, and I unplug this one, plug it back in over here, and like, oh, time to do a podcast, plug it back in over here. Not a problem. Then the other tab just broke off this morning when I was doing that. Just like, then I come over to the other ones and I unplug them from the router and the switch and I just barely touch them. It just disintegrated. You gotta be kidding me, man.
Plastic just
the little
gave
plastic.
Out.
They're all gone. They're completely useless too because like I do not trust a non-clipped-in Ethernet cable, dude.
Yeah,
It will slide out eventually, given time. So that was wild. And but something I've been playing around with. If you are over, and I've been meaning to make a forum post about it. I put some posts on the social media on the Interfacing Linux Twitter. And I think I might have put it on Blue Sky or Mastodon. I definitely put it in the Interfacing Linux Discord because me and Alan were talking about it last night at Trackmania. Is installing UEFI or BIOS on your ARM boards, be it a Raspberry Pi, be it a Rockchip-based system, because that lets you not have to go to the manufacturer's website and find their custom distribution that you get put on an SD card and follow their directions and get everything, hopefully everything. No. You just go to Fedora, you go to Ubuntu, you maybe be able to go to Manjaro, you download a generic ARM ISO image like you would for your PC, you put it on a thumb drive, you pop it in the USB port, and you cut it on, and you boot it up and install it. That's the dream, that's the promise, and that's something I got working to some extent, but I've been doing a deep dive in that past couple of days, and I don't know if I'm going to do a dedicated video for it, if it's going to be a part of another thing, but I'm going to be showing it off because there is a little bit of lobotomy involved in I was talking at the beginning of the show. This is not like doing a BIOS upgrade. No, this is more like deleting your BIOS and putting another one in. Oh, I can understand people being a little nervous about that, but I'm going to test it and fail over because I got a bunch of these review boards that, if I do lobotomize them, I'm like, oh, well, maybe they'll send me another one. I'm not going to be on anything. So I'm going to use that for good for everybody else and get these instructions out there because it's a really cool project to work on. But I had to look up a website with llamas on it because Jill went to a fair.
Yeah, I sure did. So my Steve husband and I had a great time at the Orange County Fair Sunday. It's one of my favorite fairs, and I hadn't actually been to this one in years. And we rode some cool and unique roller coasters and flat rides, some that were brought here from Europe and debuted for the first time. So I was very excited about this because I have seen these rides being ridden from some of my favorite theme park and fair vloggers from England, including Theme Park Worldwide, Slothy Vlogs, and Coaster Crazy. I'm a patron of all of them and been watching them for years. So they got me excited about these new rides that we have here in the US now, including the Heidi Coaster. It's a modern spinning wild mouse coaster that's here for the first time in the US from Germany. And I rode this, Steve didn't, and it's a good thing he didn't because it was very intense and very spinny. It was probably the most spinny roller coaster I had ever been on. And in fact, I ended up getting in a car with a young couple, and the other lady actually started crying. It was very intense. But it was so much fun. I loved it. And the other cool thing we had was made right here in the United States in Southern California, called the Raptor coaster. It's actually an intense small layout coaster, and I couldn't believe it, but Steve got on it too. Yay! And
is this it?
Yeah, that is the Heidi coaster. Yes.
All right.
So that's the Heidi coaster from Germany. And yeah, we were you get spun, and which I love. I love spinning things, but my Steve husband doesn't. But so we went on the other coaster, the Raptor coaster, which isn't spinning. And it doesn't do an inversion, but it almost does. It barely does. And it's pretty amazing for a small layout, and it's very intense. I think it was the most intense coaster my Stephen had been on. And I was very proud of him for wanting to go on it. So we did that together. And then I went on the Overdrive. It's the name of the breakdance spinning flat ride from Europe. And I rode this, but Steve didn't because it was a spinning ride. And it was wonderful. That one, the breakdance is is kind of best explained as a spinning rave ride. They always have the pumping music and and the lights and everything. And they're very common in Europe and in Germany and England and France. Very, very common ride. So it's nice to have one here in the United States, and I got to ride it. And the other cool thing was called Soundstorm. It's a waltzer, a flat ride, which was brand new, first time in the US and made just for our market. And it is similar to the Tilt-A-Whirl, but much more intense, much more intense. So, and that's another ride that's very rave-like. It has the pumping music and all the amazing lights and lasers and everything. So that one's cool too. So my Steve husband said he would make short clips of videos of me on the rides that he shot and put them in our Discord. So eventually he'll get around to that.
I mean, you can save a lot of money, man. Just get one of these, right? Let me see. There we go.
Yeah, I used to love those as a kid. A little spin top.
Yeah.
You sit on the floor.
They still make them, right?
Yeah.
And, yeah, those little things with like a wheel in the center, and you're like, hey, look, I'm going to vomit in a minute. Hang on. Hey. And you get up and try to walk around and like smack into a wall.
I love those. In fact, Ben, those were new when I was a kid, the 70s. That was the new toy in like 1974 or 75 or something like that.
I don't think I've ever seen one over here in the States. Then again, well, not one of those. This is something different. Okay. Then again, I don't spend a lot of time in like kids' parks, I don't have kids. But a witch's hat.
Oh, yeah.
Which is just the pole with the metal out.
Yeah, those have been deemed illegal. They haven't had, actually, those they stopped putting in parks, I heard in 1991. Believe it or not, I just saw a documentary about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That ride was very dangerous for kids.
Yeah, they just would have them in parks, man, growing up. And those things were great, because I remember they weren't dangerous. Yeah. They didn't throw me into trees, because I definitely went like sailing right into a tree one time. I'm like, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spinning all round. Okay. Everybody. I do a lot of graphical stuff, even though I'm not a graphical stuff person. It's just part of what goes on. And I had to think about a program I used 20 plus years ago, Fireworks. Yeah. You don't remember that? You know what? It's probably for the best if you didn't have to tinker with Fireworks back. Actually, it's still around on like Adobe CS, whatever.
Yeah, but, it is.
I do all the graphic stuff for interfacing Linux. So if you watch all those videos of art assets, the animations and stuff like that goes on, that's me playing around. And, all the stuff that you see on the podcast, the backgrounds and, the movie bits. So I'm always bouncing around between like Krita, GIMP, Inkscape, whatever tool I got to have open at the time to get it done. And it would be nice to have all that tied together. And that's the promise of PixiEditor, which they have a new release, 2.0. It's out, completely open source, FOSS Universal 2D Graphics Editor. They're going to tell you all about it because it's got all the fun stuff in it. It aims to solve that by having an everything app that looks pretty good. It's got raster, vector, animation, procedural VFX, and it's non-destructive, like GIMP 3.0 is. And all of those tool sets can be used on the same canvas at the same time. That's really good.
Sweet.
Now, version 2, it comes with timeline animation capabilities. It even has a node editor for the render system, which is pretty cool. Basically, it's just like a universal 2D editor that, more importantly, has a sensible user interface, which is great. And I look at that. It's not a pixel editor, but it does apparently a great job. You switch between like, hey, I want to do pixel editing, I want to do art and whatever, and here's the little animation timeline. You want to do that? We're taking a look. Go watch the video versions here, or just visit the show notes. There'll be a link to it in there. Open source is their business model. How does that work out, Vin? Well, the plan is one dude has been working on this and made a lot of progress, especially with this release. His funding model is to just release paid extensions and like asset packs and stuff like that you might want to use. There was originally like a funding founders asset pack or, pretty cool. Comes available as a Debian package and a tar.gz that you can download, run on Linux, and it's cross-platform though, so you can get it on Mac and Windows as well. And I love to see stuff like this. I've been meaning. I was telling Jill in the before we went live. Ever since last week, I wanted to play around with this because I don't like having to bounce around between a bunch of apps. And GIMP 3.0 is everybody. It's getting there. It's getting there for my use cases. There's still work to be done. Like the copy and paste stuff is just unbelievably still slow when you're dealing with like big, ginormous images. And a couple of other like weirdities. So, and I hate Inkscape. Everybody, you guys are just amazing. You're great. But I hate using it. I loathe the user interface in that. And I grew up with bad user interfaces, and like that thing's a nightmare to deal with. Every time I got to touch it, it's like it reminds me of the original Blender interface, which was just completely psychotic. This, I don't know. I'll tell you next week. I'm definitely going to install it, and I'm going to see if I can adapt it to a workflow. So if you're into, just like you need stuff for like your video editing needs or just like basic graphical stuff, go check it out. If you're working on a game, you need a pixel editor, go check it out. It's got the timeline animation stuff built into it. It can export movies. A lot of promises is what I'm saying. I haven't played with it. What do you think about it? You like the UI though, right?
Oh yeah. So I really liked the UI of Pixel Editor when it came out several years ago. And I remember playing with it. And I remember even thinking, God, I'm so impressed with the user interface. It'd be cool if it did more like vector graphics and animation. And here we are. I mean, it even has path tracing to create Bezier curves and polygons. So I was really impressed by that. And of course, the animation too. And keyframe animation with vector graphics is coming soon. And as a 30-year animation instructor, I am very impressed by this tool. I'm so looking forward to deep diving it and even telling my students about it so they can take a look. And gosh, who knows? This may be a good tool for my beginning animation students to teach them keyframing. There we go.
I don't know. It might be. I'm just looking at this node graph to create the fire, and I'm like, I don't want any part of that.
It's very much like Blender's node graph. Yeah.
This is like me and because I get in some of these node-based situations. I'm not a fan of like node editing because it gets to a point where it is almost unmaintainable. And like if you use Unreal Engine, if you use Unity, you're familiar with this. Yeah. And there's the 3D application and DaVinci Resolve. And also their color grading is node-based, which is great when you're doing a little thing, but like once it can get nasty, man. So hopefully I won't have to be tangoing with that too much. But yeah, go check it out. PixieEditor.net if you just want to go straight to it. And yep, it's on GitHub. Go build it yourself. Play around with it. All right. Now, something we've been waiting on for a long time, at least I've been waiting on for a long time, Jill.
Yes.
It's a mythical being because I have like these strange requirements of we all want an e-ink monitor. Everybody does. Like if you've seen it, you're like, that would be a cool monitor for reading show notes or, just like static things. Maybe you just like have Discord on there. It doesn't even have to be color. I'm not even trying to be fancy, but you need it. You need to be bigger than a little tiny window, and you need it not to take a weekend to refresh.
Yes.
But we also want it to be kind of affordable too, don't we?
Yes. And it's here. It's here, Ben. So now here is a piece of technology that many Linux enthusiasts, of course, even including me and Ben, have been waiting for years. We all love the battery efficiency and the easy on the eyes e-ink displays on our Amazon Kindles and tablets. But the refresh rate was just too slow to get any real work done. But Modos Tech has announced the Modos Paper Monitor, which is an open hardware e-ink display development kit aimed at developers that offers high-speed performance with refresh rates of 60 to 75 hertz. Oh, it's here in the modern age. This is just awesome. And the monitor is powered by a caster, e-paper controller, and connects via HDMI or USB-C, of course, making it compatible with Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. And it is 1600 by 1200 resolution for the 13.3-inch monitor and 1448 by 1072 resolution for a 6-inch display with support for various grayscale and dithering modes. And Modos is offering the e-paper monitor and development kit for custom projects with options for monochrome as well as color panels. Yay! Color e-ink has been progressing very well, so it's nice to see support for that as well. And the project is open source with the hardware design files and FPGA gateware available on GitHub. And actually, Modos Tech on their crowd supply page states, got a spare e-paper screen gathering dust or looking to repurpose a display for your project? Our developer kit makes it simple, compatible with a wide range of screens from 6-inch to 13.3-inch in both monochrome and color. The kit lets you easily connect and reuse unused displays. With our monitor enclosure design files, you can build a custom monitor housing that perfectly fits your project's needs. So over at Crowd Supply, you can pre-order the pre-assembled development kit for $199 for the 6-inch version at 1448 by 1072 resolution and $599 for the 13-inch version at 1600 by 1200 resolution with delivery in January 2026. And the kit includes a screen, an adapter, a main board, a ribbon cable, and a USB-C cable. So I was just really impressed by this. It's coming. We're going to get big e-ink displays now.
13W, we're definitely getting there.
I refresh.
You might be thinking like, well, you've seen some like the color e-ink monitors coming out, and like they're still wicked expensive. They're not like ludicrously expensive like they used to be, but they're still, you're still looking at probably close to like $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
The refresh rate, it is 60, but for the video watchers, like this is a paused frame from like scrolling a web page. So you need to be realistic here. All right. There's going to be ghosting on these. You're not, if you're of a certain age, you're of a certain age and you remember the original LCD laptop screens trying to play Doom or Wolfenstein on one of those, and like as soon as you started moving too quick, it just turned into a schmeary mess. You're not going to be playing Quake on these guys. I mean, yes, all right, I'm going to do it for a YouTube video, but you're not really going to want to do it. I'll probably send him a note, see if I can get a hold of a dev kit. Maybe we'll take a look at it on interfacing Linux and play around with it and see what we can do. Because, of course, like I know that scene, that's Big Buck Buddy.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Different modes, different things to play around with. A nice little board. It's FPGA based, so that's probably a lot of their cost right there.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. 16 by 12. I'll probably shoot him a note, play around with it.
Yeah, that would be great.
Their crowd supply is...
It said January 2026 on Crowd Supply was the estimated delivery.
Yeah, 42% funded. So they're at 46K of 110 goal. So it looks like they really do need to actually raise money for this. This isn't just your we already get these things made and we need to figure out what the shipping's going to be on this.
Yeah.
So Crowd Supply. It's over there. Maybe go check it out.
It's gone up quite a bit since I checked it several days ago. It was under 40. So that's good to see. Yeah.
Maybe. And as with Indiegogo, Kickstarter, anything like that, you're rolling the dice on these things.
Yes.
Just remember, they do have a prototype. They're showing it off in the video. I got a couple of videos of it. So if you want to believe and you want a kit, you have to make your own frame, though. I'll keep that in mind. Joe, if I didn't want to use Windows anymore, but I wanted to run Windows, what is a React something?
React OS.
React OS, man. I'd have to break out a copy of that and be like, I can run Solitaire.
Yeah.
Calm down. I understand it runs more in Solitaire. You can also probably run Pinball by now. Maybe Notepad. But no, React OS is a fantastic project that's been out for a long time. And it allows, the whole point is to make a Windows compatible open source version of Windows, basically, and, it started out as like, hey, we're going to be, it's been around so long to where it's kind of shifted to like, this would be a great way to keep Windows applications up and running when they're no longer supported by Windows 10, because Windows 10 will be the last version of Windows ever,
Yeah.
And there's a new kid in town. Actually, it's not necessarily a new kid, but it's got some big updates, man. Greentea basically started as I wonder if I can pull this off project like back in 2016. The plan was pretty simple. Build an open source OS that runs executable files like Windows, but feels like sipping a warm cup of green tea. The not as superior as a black tea, but okay, still well enough. Well, as of July 25th, it's now in alpha. We're looking at it scrolling by on the screen. The big reason to push this out, it's now got GUI app compatibility, so there's something to show off. It looks pretty slick, built completely from scratch using their own custom programming language called Hexa. And the work's been done with a Ghidra and a little bit of vibe development that's in there to help speed things along. However, not quite ready for real hardware right now. And they're like, just fire this up in a VM and go play around with it. And I say definitely the more, the merrier for these types of things, simply because the backwards compatibility was something we were talking about in the pre-show, and I feel pretty safe. These are always kind of we're seeing basically like a little bit of a Windows desktop. Oh, there's a demo video. We're going to go watch your demo video live. Hopefully it's, oh, look, anime things. Yay. Aww. Okay, we're looking at, it's got the little drop-down top console thing like people put on the gnomes. Okay, it's got drag and drop on the desktop. You can open up anime things and shake them around. All right.
It was Minesweeper. Solitaire and Minesweeper.
You think I was joking about React OS, but I'm like, no, Minesweeper. Okay, a little bit of a file manager. You can open images, open lots of pictures of cat girls, lots and lots. And there's a "You're Awesome" thing here at the end that's like 40 minutes long. All right, there you go. You can get it over on GitHub. Wait, yeah, there it is. It'll be in the show notes. It's Greentea OS if you want to play around with it. And I've always been fascinated just by alternate operating systems. That probably started with me. Well, it did start back when I first heard about Linux way back in the day. Because I was a weird kid. I had aspirations of getting a copy of Unix, when I was extraordinarily young. I'm like, I want to play with that. But that was expensive and it wasn't available. But Linux, you could just get a hold of it. And like from there, and even after I was playing around with Linux in the 90s, like Haiku or BOS came out, I was like, I want to play around with that.
And those were so fun.
Yeah. Just the alternate. And, 15, 16 years ago, another guy was writing his own operating system called Sky OS. And I'm like, he made a lot of progress on that. And those days, anytime I see something like this, especially when it's got Windows binary compatibility, because, at some point, Windows is going to do like a hard break and it's not going to work. And I'm not terribly worried about it. What I was getting to is because we got Wine compatibility. You're going to be able to run it through Wine, whatever you're trying to get up and running in the future. You're not going to have to worry about it. But yeah, this is just a cool project. It looks pretty slick. I thought it was pretty neat.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of vaguely remember the announcement of this project. I think we even talked about it here on LWW like way back when I started many moons ago. And I love that they're taking on the build it yourself approach instead of using traditional Linux technologies, which is great. And they're actually, Greentea OS is encouraging contribution and collaboration from programmers of all skill levels, including kernel development, GUI design, .exe compatibility, or testing for bugs. So any help is appreciated. And it's always great to have a new Linux technology that's, trying to do Wine, trying to do, the other things that Linux does, but in a unique way with a different programming language that's easy to use.
And you don't have to worry about Wine or anything. You just run it like React OS. I mean, it's a single purpose and you don't think about that, but like having that stuff around is always good. And it's a good, like I said, I'm just a fan of alternate operating systems, even if their purpose is to recreate Windows. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do. Last story. Time for a little bit of a slice of pie, because what is the best way to get somebody's attention at a convention booth? Huh? All right, we can't talk about that. All right, no, never mind. What's the second best way to do that? You might think to yourself, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is with ballistic sugar.
Yes.
Delivered by this guy, a candy throwing robot. I love it. Donuts or Else made a robot arm that hucks candy at passers by. And this was all inspired because he saw there was a signage competition. And they were like, hey, create the best sign to attract the most people or whatever for a convention. And he was like, man, signs are kind of old hat, right?
Yeah.
Right? And so his idea was, let's just make a device that launches candy at people's heads. So he put together this little horrorscape. I'm like, yes, I'm here for it. Yeah, from the Seed Interactive Signage Contest. And you know, if you want to like lure people over, throw candy at them. So he built a candy throwing robot. And they pieced it together with it's using the SO100 robotic arm, relatively low cost robotic arm, just a camera, Raspberry Pi 3, and a distance sensor to single out victims. There's a great little blog post put together. And with Halloween coming up, he decided to hook it up to the OpenAI API so it would only throw candy at children. He tested it with his kids. So if he walks up to it, it does not launch free tasty sugar treats at him. But if it detects that it's a child, it'll toss them. And he adjusted the speed and velocity at which that happens, so nobody gets injured with Reese's Bits or anything, right?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool, man. It's over on Hackster.io, all the code and the parts list and everything you need, because there's really not much to it. And I think that would, you know, if you're unfamiliar, like in the States, like there are still people that do this. They will put out the candy, but they like to sit on like a rocking chair dressed as a scarecrow and be like, rah, and like scare the kids when they run up. So I think this would be an alternate take, a very tech take of like coming up to the candy bowl and it starts attacking you with a candy. Because what are you going to do? You're going to catch it. Be like, hey, free candy, right?
Yes. Hey, well, you know, it does detect adults at the conventions, but if I'm trick-or-treating at your house, I'd like it to detect me and throw candy at me, because I love candy. But this is actually really brilliant. I was thinking of ways we could use it at the Southern California Linux Expo. I mean, and that would be great at our Linux Chick-fil-A table. That would be awesome. We actually give away small prizes like Linux stickers and that kind of thing, and penguin stickers. So that would be, we could have those thrown to our audience.
Just like toss it at passers-by, man. They're like, hey, look. Listen, it'll get people talking. They'll be like, oh man, that booth has got a robot arm that throws stuff at you.
Yeah.
And you go over there and play around with it. All of this will be in the show notes, which you can find linked in the video description or over at linuxgamecast.com, where you can find the podcast. You can find this, Linux Gamecast, and all the other stuff that we get up to. Everything's under the podcast. But yeah, we talked about the ARM versus DuckStation. Like the Arch people were upsetting the DuckStation PlayStation emulator guy. I'm very happy about that on Linux Gamecast. Go give that a listen. And while you're over there, if you like what we do, Shenanigan Financing, if you want to become one of our gorgeous patrons, one of the people making this show possible, loud, live, independent, and completely ad-free through any entire run. And talk about self-hosting. Who self-hosts a podcast? I do. So
yeah, Van
definitely
does.
If you want to help out with that, very much appreciate it. We got PayPal, LibrePay, Bitcoin, patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. It's all tied under one thing. We got Wishlist. We got a store. I need to get rid of that humble affiliate. I need to change that around. And of course, if you're doing, audio, video, multimedia, you playing around with single board computers, capture cards, video hardware, software, audio stuff, head over to Interfacing Linux. Because just like Linux Gamecast, there's no ads, there's no tracking, and it's blocking the AI scrapers. as much as they want to get in. Dude, they had a problem this week. linuxmusicians.com, or it might be .org, .net, whatever it is. What is it? Which is just an ancient bulletin board system for people who do audio work on Linux. They've been having to take the site down. The site owner's been taking down the site. I'm like, why is the site down? Why is the site down? And it was finally up long enough to where I could get to the announcements. AI crawlers are hitting the site so hard. He's on a shared hosting thing to where they're like sending him nasty letters. They're like, you are causing the server to be overloaded on like whatever. Oh, yeah, he needs to install Anubis or like put it behind cloud. He's trying to figure out what he wants to. Right now, his solution is just taking the site down, which is one way to go about it. But that's quite unfortunate. I hate scrapers, man. I take pride in like finding ways to, if I see one being sneaky, I'm like, how do I get you? What do I got to do to get you? And sometimes you can find them. Sometimes I just block the entire ASN. I'll do that. Or Singapore. I haven't blocked Singapore. If you're from Singapore, my apologies on interfacing Linux. You get the Cloudflare CAPTCHA. Just way too many problems from being scraped from Singapore. But patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. Get your name in the credits. Get the live and uncut versions of these shows. You get a video version posted over on Patreon. Better quality video, better quality audio. No YouTube to worry about. Invite to gaming stuff that I do on Tuesdays and Fridays with the TM2 crew, which is great. It's like an escape puzzle room, puzzle platforming, racing. Great group of people. We have a good time over at TM2C on YouTube. We got our own private Trackmania server that runs on a Raspberry Pi, which is fun. We do 14 new maps each and every week. And on Friday we come in and we do RPG, which is like, group escape room puzzle solving, but we're doing it in cars. And if that sounds weird, it's because it is, but it's a blast. It is really fun. And Jordan's always up to something on Thursdays. He's on a pretty epic Baldur's Gate 3 run right now, if you want to go check that out at 7:30 p.m. But yeah, that's going to do it. That's going to wrap us up. And speaking of the beautiful patrons, let's go ahead and bring up that bounce.
Okay.
And roll them credits.
Thank our patrons and all the different levels of patrons, including our advisor, Arthur, our executive producers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Atomic, our Chicago Kicks Mules level, Glorious Egg Roll, Basil, Empty, our Sea Monsters, Veritanuna, Truggy, Mike, Casey Clism, our Death Notes, Chad, Romero, Martin,
Jill
Renee,
and
Leonardo.
Steve.
Yeah, Jill and Steve. Beckett, Tim, Euthanasia.
Too late. Only got 3 this week.
Yes, I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, plenty of time to get out there. Go have some fun. Like and subscribe over on YouTube. If you watch the videos, those thumbs up. So are the best things we can get. Or just go download the podcast wherever you're at and give it a listen. All right. Bye, everybody. See you next week.
Love you all.